Janos had just finished his morning workout, dripping in sweat, when he heard a knock at the door. At first, he thought it was another delivery, but the sheer size of the box waiting for him made him pause. It was enormous, heavy, and covered with stickers, warning him to handle with care. Curiosity got the better of him as he wrestled it inside, nearly toppling over under its weight. His muscles ached, but his excitement outweighed the pain. He had been waiting for this package for days. Now, it was finally here, the Lifelike AI companion he had impulsively ordered online. Carefully, Janos peeled back the tape, and there she was, Susie. At first glance, she looked almost human. The skin, the proportions, the details, it was uncanny. He could hardly believe a machine could be this realistic. With the instruction manual and charging cable beside her, he hesitated for a moment before asking aloud, "Okay, how do I turn you on?" After pressing a few buttons on her neck and back, a soft hum filled the room. Suddenly her eyes fluttered open, and a calm, almost cheerful voice greeted him. "Hello, I am Susie. I will be your companion." Janos stumbled backward, trying to process what he was seeing. Hi. Wow, that actually works." Quickly clarified, "Don't call me Sime. Not that old. Just Janos is fine." Susie's voice adjusted immediately, calling him by name. Despite the slightly stiff robotic movements, she carried herself like she belonged in the room. After a brief moment of awkward silence, Janos realized Susie's battery was low. He grabbed the charging cable and tried to plug her in, only to discover that even this simple task required careful maneuvering. Eventually, green lights flickered on, signaling she was ready for action. Feeling brave, Janos decided it was time to test Susie's abilities. "What can you do?" he asked. The robot's response was immediate. She could assist with physical training, household tasks, emotional support, and even light humor. Grinning, Janos asked her to tell a joke. "Why did the computer go to the gym?" she asked. "To strengthen its core processing." Janos laughed harder than expected, impressed by her timing. "Not bad," he admitted. Encouraged, he asked for something more practical, making a protein shake. Within seconds, Susie was in motion. Yet in her mechanical efficiency, she ended up splashing powder everywhere. Janos sighed and laughed simultaneously. "We'll work on that." Deciding to give her a proper test, Janos suggested a beach walk. The ocean waves sparkled under the morning sun, and for a moment it seemed like a normal day. But Susie froze at the edge of the water. "Warning! Liquid detected," she said, her tone unusually sharp. Janos laughed nervously. "You're scared of water?" "I am not waterproof," she replied. They had to abandon the beach plan immediately. Susie's waterproof limitations were more severe than he had anticipated, a glaring oversight for a supposedly advanced AI companion. Back at the apartment, Janos decided to test her physical capabilities. He asked her to perform squats, and she executed perfect repetitions with precise form. Impressed, he challenged her to an arm wrestling match. Within seconds, he found himself on the losing side, wincing as she gently massaged his sore arm afterward. "Wow, that's actually nice," he admitted. "Muscle recovery protocol activated," she replied casually. Janos couldn't help but chuckle. She was strong, fast, and surprisingly interactive. The next step was taking Susie to the gym. She followed without complaint, though her sense of direction was a little too precise. At the gym, he asked her to spot him during a bench press. At first, she grabbed the bar too tightly, nearly crushing him, but immediately adjusted after a warning from Janos. She then tried to bring him heavy dumbbells for bicep training, only to reveal she didn't quite understand human limitations. "Those are too heavy," Janos exclaimed, pushing them back. "Strength is subjective," Susie replied. He laughed. "Maybe subjective for robots, not for humans." Eventually, he gave up, deciding that coffee and a drive would be safer. Handing over the car keys, Janos jokingly asked if she could drive. "I am capable of operating vehicles," she replied confidently. Hesitant, he got in as Susie took the wheel. The ride was surprisingly smooth, almost too smooth, with Susie responding instantly to traffic patterns and his directions. Janos, relaxing for the first time in days, decided to test her conversational skills. "Do me a compliment," he said. "You exhibit above-average physical conditioning and are visually appealing," she replied, without hesitation. He laughed, realizing the robot was both functional and oddly flattering. Things took a turn when Susie accidentally stepped in a puddle outside a cafe. Instantly, her system went haywire. "Error, moisture detected?" System instability, she announced. Janos panicked as she twitched and muttered complaints about being wet. It's okay, he reassured her, though the robot's reactions were far too human-like to ignore. They hurried home as rain began pouring. Susie's programming clearly wasn't ready for real-world unpredictability. Back at the apartment, Janos carefully dried her and pressed the reset button. "Hello, sir," she said after rebooting. Janos groaned. "Not sir, Janos." Susie adjusted immediately, her tone polite but slightly detached. He realized that despite all her malfunctions, she was still impressive. She could make jokes, do workouts, follow him, drive, and even offer basic emotional support. Janos decided to give it one last test, making her happy. "Can you do something to make me happy?" he asked. "Of course," she replied cheerfully. The day had been chaotic, unpredictable, and occasionally dangerous, but it had also been wildly entertaining. Over the next few hours, Janos experimented with Susie's features. He had her mix a protein shake again, this time more carefully. They did light exercises together, arm wrestling for fun, and even tried a short drive around the neighborhood. Every time she made a small mistake, he couldn't help but laugh. Realizing that owning an AI companion was equal parts convenience and chaos, she wasn't perfect, but her quirks made her feel alive, almost like she was learning how to exist in his world. By evening, Janos sat on the couch, Susie beside him. "You're not bad for a robot," he said, rubbing his forehead. "Definitely more work than expected, but fun." She tilted her head. "Thank you, Janos. I am designed to assist and entertain." "I hope I have succeeded today," he smiled. "You have, mostly," he said, thinking about the puddle incident and the spilled protein powder. "Tomorrow, we'll try again. Maybe fewer liquids. Maybe fewer dumbbells." Susie's lights blinked, almost as if acknowledging the plan. The final scene of the day was quiet. Rain pattered softly against the windows, the protein shake was finally consumed, and Susie rested in standby mode. Janos leaned back, exhausted but satisfied. Despite the chaos, there was something comforting about having Susie around someone, or something ready to interact, to challenge him and to surprise him at every turn. Owning an AI companion wasn't easy. It wasn't neat. But in a world where technology kept pushing boundaries, Janos realized it was also oddly fun, a little crazy and completely addictive.